Hello, Sentinels. Welcome back to Sentinels Speak with our episode on multimedia. Our first guest today is,
Miss Sergei.
all right, Miss Sergei. And what do you do here at Magnolia?
I teach the multimedia production pathway. It is a 2 year pathway provided by North Orange County ROP, and our students start in the intro class with photography, some graphic design. Then we move on to filmmaking. And then our advanced class, they do either animation and then they get to do a track of their choice, whether it's advanced graphic design, advanced photography, animation, or advanced filmmaking. And then we also have the Mag TV class if they want to do that instead of the capstone. And then they get experience with basically filming the news, doing live events, and stuff like that.
All right, and can you tell me a little bit about how you started working here as the multimedia and like doing all the things you do here?
Sure. So, my background, I didn't study teaching. So, I got my bachelor's degree in graphic design and was working in the design industry, and then got my master's in film. So, with that background, I found out about this opportunity to teach, and I really enjoy teaching. So, I applied for it, got the job. So, I'm coming in as an industry expert teaching the CT class.
Yeah, and what would you say to like a student, like a new student, maybe like a freshman, sophomore? Like, because when I was a sophomore, I was still picking classes, and I needed like an extra elective, so I took multimedia too, because I did do like a little bit of multimedia stuff way back in middle school, so I had like a little bit of knowledge ahead of time. But what would you say to someone who was like, I don't know, maybe they were like, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know if this is what I want to do, and they're like a little unsure. What advice would you give for them?
I would say if you're interested at all in anything creative or computers, then take the class because you're going to be doing photography for the rest of your life, taking photos of your family, whatever. So, and then the future is digital. So, whether or not you decide to pursue a career in the arts, like these are all skills that you get to use for the rest of your life. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll decide, oh, I want to start my own YouTube channel. Learning these editing skills now, becoming good at it, gives you a step ahead of everyone else. So you never know. The thing is, you never know where you're going to end up. Everything's changing, so it's good to have these kinds of skills. So I would say take it, and you might surprise yourself.
Yeah, okay. So I think one of the like core aspects of multimedia, like one of the main appeals to it, is that you have a lot of freedom as a student in that class to like make the projects you want, write your own scripts, make your own films, and obviously there's still like a team aspect to that, especially with Mag TV, because they do work together a lot. Would you say like that whole Mag TV thing started?
It's something that I inherited. It started before I became a teacher here. But yeah, they do work as a team. Everyone in that class is, every time we film, they're all involved in one set and different roles and they rotate. But also, they have trios. So we have Set on the Street, we have Friends for Fun, the In-Betweeners, and Friday Morning Skits. So they teamed up with people they want to work with and they're releasing extra content that they care about.
Yeah, and what's your like favorite part about multimedia? Like, what's your favorite aspect of it?
Like teaching it or all in general?
Like why? When did you like find out? What made you find out that this was like what you wanted to do in life?
Hmm. I was always creative.
Mm-hmm.
My third grade teacher called my parents in to a parent teacher conference and they're like, your child is super creative. She's already creating this in third grade. You really got to consider a creative arts career for her. But I grew up with Russian parents. It's a very different culture. Um, but in high school, I was like, okay, it's time to figure out what I'm doing with my life. And art class was the only one that I was super excited about. So I decided to apply to art school. But you also hear the stereotypes where they're like, artists don't make any money. So I'm like, I'm going to go for design instead. It's smart. And I realized, ooh, I really love this. And like design's a lifestyle. Um, and so that was kind of it. I was like, once I got into it, I'm like, wow, like everything we do, whether it's design, photography, film, we're telling stories. And I discovered pretty early on that when we're honest and vulnerable and just willing to show who we are, it actually brings a lot of healing to people and also like healing to ourselves, especially through filmmaking.
Yeah, something I notice about like people who make art is that it's like it's therapeutic for a lot of people, even if it's something they don't do all the time. And art is like permeating in our society. It's part of everyday life, even when you don't see it. Like we walk out in front of the school, there's still the on the gym. I think it's the side of the gym, but the really big Sentinel, like the big logo, the big face of the school, and someone had to like paint and make that. And when you think about it, it's like you see it, you start to see it more after you take the class, I think, and I think that's like very important to the aspect of it. You have any final remarks about just multimedia or just like how it feels to teach that class in general?
Mm. Well, I want to say that every single person is created to be creative. Whether or not you develop like amazing drawing or art skills, like you are a creative person. Sometimes it comes out in cooking, sometimes it comes out in how you fix a car and the way just your brain is wired to figure stuff out. Sometimes it comes out in coding, but every single person is creative. Um, so I recommend if you want to try something new, take the class. You get to meet people from ninth grade to 12th grade. It's very collaborative and people have fun making stuff. So
All right. All right. Well, Miss Sergey, thank you for having this interview with us. And we'll be right back with a new host and a new student to interview.
thank you.
I'm Angel Felizola, and today we will be interviewing.
Carlos Bolanos.
Nice to meet you, Carlos. And so we're going to be talking about multimedia today.
Okay.
So, off the rip, what's your favorite parts of multimedia?
I think my favorite parts about multimedia is being able to use all the different softwares they give us, like Adobe Premiere, Adobe After Effects, and Premiere Pro. And these softwares, like, they allow you to make like videos and photos. And I think it's really fun because you get to learn many new things, and there's many people in there you could talk to. You get many chances to learn new things. And right now we're working on a silent film, which is something I never thought I'd be ever doing. And if you join Mag or Multimedia, then you could do those type of things like make silent films or create like cool images using Photoshop.
Well, that sounds awesome. Well, for stuff like careers and such that be associated, what jobs could this open up for some people?
This could open up for many things, mainly in like maybe like Hollywood type of jobs. Like you could learn to be a director from this, maybe a graphic designer. I think mainly a graphic designer since we're like, see, we spent like a whole semester using Photoshop, and we learned how to use like the different tools in it, and this could really like help you out in the future for becoming a graphic designer.
Well, that's good to hear. A lot of new jobs, and jobs are awesome.
Yeah.
So, the next thing is, out of all your current experiences, what do you think has your favorite as the title?
Like my favorite experience?
Yeah.
Yes. I think my favorite experience right now is what we're doing right now. It's like a silent film, and the reason why this is my favorite experience is because we get to bring many of our ideas to life, and right now I'm working in a group with my friends, and it's really fun because we're making his silent film first, and his silent film is based on a recent incident that happened in real life, and I don't know if I could bring it up. I don't know if it's family friendly, but yeah, we get to bring that to life in our own way, in a family friendly way, and it was just really fun, and it's really funny, and it's just a good experience.
Well, I'm glad to hear. Hopefully, we get to see it later in the year when it's
Yeah.
produced. So, in terms of all of that you've done in this class, do you think that there were certain mountains to climb that were harder or certain things that felt way more easy?
Yeah, I think one mountain that was really hard to climb was when we first introduced to Adobe Premiere Pro. And the reason for this is because we originally spent like a whole semester using Photoshop and Lightroom. And so we got so used to just using images and just like color grading and all that basic stuff that once we moved on to After Effects, or not After Effects, Premiere Pro, it was just really hard to like settle in. It was really difficult. But after like a month, we really got used to it, and Yeah, and one thing that was really easy to learn for me, personally, was the Photoshop part, and it was mainly because I'm not like a professional graphic designer, but it's something that I've been like learning for the past 2 years. So it was really easy for me to like learn.
Thank you very much for that. So, in terms of what needs to be done and the grading schedules, how do you feel? Do you think that this is a class that you have to like really put in the world's amount of effort? Is this a class that you can do while having fun? How would you say it?
I think it's a class you could do while having fun, mainly because I think I'm like a perfectionist. I always try to make everything as perfect as possible, and I usually get A's. But I also have a friend who sees the fun in this class. He's always trying to to make the most out of it and have the most fun he could have, and he also gets good grades too. So I think it's a class you could pass while having fun as well.
Well, from what I've heard, it's a really fun class, and the people who are in it typically say that they love it. Would you agree with it?
Yes, I would agree. I really love it. It's I think one of my top 3 favorite classes right now.
Well, I am biased because I had it in the beginning of the year, and
Yeah.
Miss Sergey is amazing, so
Yes,
shout
she
out to
is.
her. Well, was there anything that you wanted to say that you feel like you get when you work in multimedia, but you don't think people outside of multimedia would know?
Like something we would get. Wait, can you repeat the question?
Well, is there something in multimedia where you feel like, whoa, I didn't even know this was going to be a challenge or something that I could do, but people outside of multimedia wouldn't like, assume that you could do that?
Well, I think like something that um something that I didn't think I could know like from multimedia was maybe like the whole photography part because I really found that difficult because I always thought photos were simple. You just click, like take the picture and it'd be simple, but it's more than that. Like we learned something new, like the rule of thirds, which we like align like a line in the camera into like the person's face or the object you're taking a picture of to make it seem more professional. And that's not something I ever thought I would have to worry about before I took this class.
Well, that's actually really cool. Without my multimedia, I would have no clue that that was a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And in case any of you are iPhone professionals, you can take better pictures now. So, in terms of the class, would you say that this is a class where people are more tight knit with each other, more friendly, or would you say that this is like a challenging, like on your own class?
I think it's like a more friendly class. Like I've made many new friends, people I never thought would ever hang out with. Like I made a friend in there that after this class, I've been able to hang out with them multiple times outside of school, and it's a really fun experience because you get to learn new people while learning new things that are really interesting. And yeah, there's like many friendly people in here that you would meet, and yeah.
All right. Now, take me through a typical work day of just one assignment's due by the end of the week, and it's a Tuesday.
Well, the first thing we do is just get to class, and the first thing I usually do is head towards the table with all the USB drives. I get my USB. I walk back to my table, insert the USB to my computer, and I just get back to work. I usually like share ideas with my friends, and yeah, we usually just share ideas, concepts of what we want to do for the project, and we usually just spend the rest of the class working. And once it's due, we usually just turn it in. And one thing that she tells us to really work on is make sure our USB is like really professional and clean. Like make certain file and make like yeah, just make sure all the files are clean and it's not too messy. Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing for business if any of you do want to work with computers later on in your life. And collaborative, creative, and consistent with fun, apparently. So
Yeah.
those are 3 good C's to have. But I think this will be our signing off. We've done an amazing podcast. Thank you, too.
Thank you. Carlos Bolanos.
Yes, he's been an amazing person to interview. We hope to have him again soon if anything major comes up. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Today we will be interviewing,
Caleb Torres.
and he will be representing Multimedia as well. So let's all give him a round of applause and a hello. All right, well, right off the bat, let's say, what do you love about Multimedia?
I love that we're able to express our creativity in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of things we do relating to technology, editing, and it's just a great way to show off your creativity and put a bit of you into projects that we'll do and different like things like film, photography. It's just a great way to showcase you and your uniqueness.
Well, that's important that we celebrate those. Well, out of a whole of assignments that you've done, do you have any assignment that you would want to give examples on of what they can do in the real world?
Yeah. So one of the a project we did actually, I think one of our first major projects we did was a senior photography project, and it was a project where we learned about lighting exposure and how to change things like the dimness of your camera, the light balance, the white balance, the dark balance, all the different settings on the camera to make sure your photos look as clear as possible in day or nighttime. So it was a great way to learn that because nowadays a lot of people do like photography jobs, whether it is for senior photography or wedding photography. So it's always great to know something like that for if you ever need it for a job, like potential jobs, like I said, photography, for filming, for all that stuff, for graphic design. It's always great to learn different skills, but for photography especially, it's a great thing because photography is something that pretty much anyone can do as long as you know the settings of the camera and you learn it enough. Anyone can do photography, so it's not something that's like down to a specific group. Anyone can really do it, so it's a good thing to learn.
It's very inclusive. Thank you. And I'm sure I'll hopefully take better pictures with my phone one day. But in the meantime, so as an overall with your classes, how would you say your class is in terms of working? Would you feel like your class is a like when you're working, is it you have to be in groups? Do you feel like some people can thrive on their own, or do you feel like it's an overall mix of how everyone wishes to work like?
It's 100% a mix. There's some projects that we really don't need anyone. For example, we did a Photoshop project. That was where we Photoshop ourselves onto like almost like a fantastical world. And that project really didn't require any teamwork. So that was a project that was really great for people who like to do individual projects. But then there's other projects like the aforementioned senior photography or when we did light photography. Those required teamwork because you needed someone to be the model, someone to create the light on the camera that you would create, and then someone to actually manage the camera. So there's definitely a good mix of teamwork and solo projects that we do. So it's pretty much anyone, like if you're kind of like, I don't know how I feel, but I want to try to work with people, it's a good class for you. And if you want to kind of try to be on your own and do projects alone, it's also a good class for you. So it's a good class to do a mix of both.
It's great to hear. So if you're shy or if you're an extrovert, you're always welcome in this class.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And so Miss Sergei, amazing. I've talked about how great she is before. I've had her for a teacher only momentarily when my classes were being switched, and she was more than hospitable. How would you say her teaching style is?
I'd say her teaching style is actually really great. One of the best things is that she's very helpful. If she sees you're struggling, she will help you. She's not the type that'll be like, well, she's not the type that'll just kind of ignore you or try to be like, just do it quick. No, she'll come up to you and she'll be like, oh, do you need a little help with this? And she'll be like, so what you want to do specifically is like fix the exposure on this, or she'll help us. And it's really great because everyone struggles and everyone really does struggle, and especially I have struggled in the class, and there's times where I've been like, I need some help. So when she's able to come and help me, it's really great because I don't ever have to feel like oh my gosh, Miss Sergey, I need your help. No, it's like kind of like a little bit like a, oh, okay, what do I do? And then she'll kind of be like, okay, Caleb, do you need help? And it's like, yeah. And it's perfect because, and also in general, she's just really sweet, a really sweet teacher. She's probably one of the kindest teachers I've had in general. I absolutely love her as a teacher.
Yes, I can attest that she is an amazing teacher. So, in terms of life to school application, how often do you feel like somebody can take what you're learning in this class and just apply it to something that they might want to do in their fun life?
Oh my gosh, you can 100% use stuff that you learn in this class in the real world. One of the best things you can learn is specifically, because a lot of people like to take pictures on their phones, like you said, learning photography in multimedia is a good way to learn is a good way to learn about centering, about the different like landscaping, portrait. It's a good way to learn how much to zoom in to make your subject clear, exposure levels. It's a great way to learn. And even filming, especially for people like content creators, it's a good way to learn how to film around different environments, whether you're limited to environments or whether you have whatever environments you want. It's a good way to learn how to adapt to different areas when you're filming. And even for jobs outside of school, it's a great way because a lot of people nowadays use photographers. They like to have filmers, especially in like industries like Hollywood. It's a good way when you're learning film to learn how to film. And even besides just filming with a camera, you learn about directing, you learn about acting, you'll learn about how to use the different equipment and how to control that equipment in different situations. But you can, yeah, it's 100% possible to use pretty much everything we learn in here in the real world, whether it's personal, whether it's job wise, like if you want to make money off of it. It's a good way to earn money by doing something unique that people would want to look for.
Well, we've asked Carlos this before, but I really do want to hear your opinion. So, when we talked to him about things that, how did you feel in that classroom? Did you feel like you were tight knit with everyone? Did you feel more competition towards one another? How did you feel when you step in that classroom? Is it more of a you guys are friendly competition, you're butting heads, or are you the best of the friends?
I'd say there's definitely no competition in the class. There's no like who can do the best film. She'll have fun competitions of like whose film did everyone like the most, but she's not like who did the best film, they win this. No, it's more or less just like you kind of, it's kind of like a way of like you're not competitive, but you're just kind of trying to make sure you can do the best you can without worrying about anyone else's work. You're not particularly worrying about, oh my gosh, is my work better than this person? No, you're just kind of saying like, how does my work compare to other people? And it's not competitive. I wouldn't say it's like you're like the best friends with everyone because there are a lot of times where you do work by yourself. But in general, you at first when you do, it's more or less when you come to the room first, it's like you're not best friends with everyone. But over time, once you start to help people and once you start to learn how other people do, it really does kind of become like some best friends and some really good relationships with people. Also, in general, I think some of the students in there are actually really wonderful people too.
So we've asked this question to Carlos as well, so I hope I'm not repeating the same questions only.
You're-
But when you say you have a favorite, would you say you have a favorite experience or an experience that you'll like forever treasure?
I think one of my favorite things we've done is probably our movie poster project. It was one of the funnest things we did because we were able to use different like images. We were able to learn how to crop things out so they wouldn't look messy or like pixelated. We would learn how to properly color things in like a poster. So it was really cool because that was basically one of our first intros to Photoshop, which we use a lot of. We use all the Adobe services, and one of the best parts is you get your Adobe certifications in the class. But it is the Photoshop project was one of my favorites because it was where we got to basically Photoshop whatever we wanted onto the poster. And it was just really fun because you got to showcase your creativity. You got to, if you wanted to go extra, like the extra mile, add a lot of stuff to it, you really could. And it was just a great way to push yourself and show how much you could do.
It's good to hear. And you said the words Adobe certification.
Mhm.
So what exactly does that entail?
It basically means that when you're out of either when you're out of high school or when you're out of the class, you get the certifications so that you can use any of the Adobe services anytime for your own use. So say you want to continue using Photoshop after you're done with the program. You can once you get your Adobe certifications. And it's provided by the district. So either the district or the school, I'm not 100% sure. But it's provided by them so that you can use it outside of school. And it's really cool because it's something that otherwise not everyone would have access to. So this is a great way to get access to those benefits too.
Well, whoever it is, district or school, we do thank you for such a certification. And so I feel like we've talked for a while now. So just no more than a few questions left. But would you really recommend this to people who are not sure of what their next elective should be?
100%. I would 100% recommend this to anyone. I'd recommend this to anyone because this is a good one for anyone to do. If you like being creative, like if you're into art or if you're into ceramics and you want to do another elective, I'd 100% recommend multimedia because you still have that creative element. Or if you're in cyber and you work a lot with technology, I would also recommend it because we do a lot of stuff on the computers and we do a lot of stuff relating to like the different programs we use, but it's just in general a class that anyone can find interest in or anyone can enjoy because it's not specific to one thing. You're not like only doing photography, only doing film. You're doing everything. So it's a great way to test different things. If you want to try a bit of film, bit of Photoshop, bit of photography, you can. It's really good.
All right. Well, thank you, Kaleb. You really were just the best to interview. We hope to have you back on here one day. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Sentinels Speak. I'm your host for today. My name is Luna Husani and I'm here with
Elina, Shafizada.
So what are you a part of?
I'm part of Multimedia.
So can you give us a brief summary of what multimedia is?
Sure. Multimedia is use of photography, video, and design to create visual content.
So what inspired you to join multimedia?
I wanted to learn photography and editing skills to capture and create meaningful images.
What accomplishments have you completed in multimedia?
I have worked on photography, light painting, photography, logo design, Photoshop, and movie posters.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. There's so many things that like you guys are a part of. So,
Yes.
what are your plans for multimedia in the future?
My plans for multimedia, I want to improve my photography skills and explore more on editing techniques.
What contributions does multimedia bring to Magnolia?
Multimedia captures the events and showcases creativity of the students. Yes.
I also wanted to ask, around how long does it take for you guys to like finish one of the videos that you guys present to the school?
It takes like a week or 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it has different stages that we edit the sound design, like the cameras.
Okay. That's actually really cool. So what is your favorite project that you have done in multimedia and why?
My favorite project in multimedia was light painting photography. I enjoyed because it allowed me to experiment with long exposure and creative light sources. We used various light sources like flashlights, glow sticks, and phone screens to paint in the air. While the camera captured the movement, it was exciting to see how different colors and shapes appeared in the final images. This project pushed me to think creatively and explore more light can be used to create unique effects in photography.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know like light painting was a thing. So what is a challenge and struggle that you have encountered in multimedia?
A challenge I faced in multimedia was getting the right lighting and photography. At first, it was difficult to balance the intensity and direction of the light to achieve the effect I wanted. Sometimes the image turned too dark or too bright, and it takes practice to understand how different light sources and angles impact the final result. I had to learn how to adjust the camera setting like ISO, shutter speed, and aperture to control the exposure properly. Over time, I got better at experimenting with light to enhance my photos, but it was definitely a learning process.
Oh my gosh, it sounds so complicated, but it's also so cool what you guys are able to do for the school.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, guys, so that's it for today's episode. I'm Luna.
I'm Elina.
Thank you so much. We're signing off.